Folks, if you saw the last video with Mr. Stephen Dow where we were talking about Boardwalk and Park Place, at the very end of this video, he blew my mind and he talked about fix and flip. This is something I have not talked about Stephen Dow with in probably a year. He's done
Right.
deals with me. We've done apartment 30 years. He's helped me out in my business. But as you will see at the end of that video, he talked about fix and flip and blew my mind. But Stephen, before we talk about it, do the marketing thing.
Thank you, sir. Again, although I work very, very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's do another engaging video.
Yeah, so I want to talk about fix and flip because, again, I think most people should not be doing flips today.
Right.
Most people. I believe there are a few of us out there who know the market well enough, are comfortable buying junk below the median and fixing it to the ability to make a profit and sell below the median. For example, the house that I have now that's listed and in escrow, it was bought for $175. I put 50 in. It's in escrow at $299.
Mm-hmm.
The median price in the area is about $380. So I'm about 80% of the median. If you can do that over and over, I want to talk about fix and flip because, again, at the time, I'm comfortable doing that on 2 properties.
Mm-hmm.
But dummy I am, did it with cash. Lucky enough to be in that position. Lots of people aren't. So let's talk about the vanilla fix and flip program.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about how we can get creative and actually do it for 10% down. What's the basic fix and flip program?
Okay, so as it pertains to a seasoned investor or seasoned flipper, we would typically cover 80% of the purchase price. So you have to have 20% down. Okay. Typically, for the buyer, they would want at least 3 months of reserves.
Sure.
Obviously, to kind of offset the vacancy of the property while you're rehabbing it. Minimum, 650 FICO. We'll cover typically anywhere from 80 to 100% of the rehab. Just depends on the overall ARV at the end of all that.
So worst case, I could have gotten 80% of purchase, 80% of rehab.
Correct.
I'm seasoned, right? 60 some flips.
Correct.
And again, these are, you've already, but yeah, so we'll get there in a minute. I just want to tie this out because a lot of people here. So again, we bring you a deal, we sign, we're in escrow. You can get these done in 2 to 3 weeks.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, let's say.
I mean, fastest so far for me was 3 days. But yeah, typically speaking, right. Typically speaking, under 18 days. Yes. Yeah. Start to finish.
You have my file, so I could go faster, but let's talk for the average.
Oh yeah.
So again, if you're doing the work, you have a market, you're buying below, you want to fix it. There's a lot of people that only do that. They only flip to first-time home buyers. And what's going on now with FHA, Fannie, Freddie making it bad for investors? That's the only thing I would touch.
Right.
But you even have a way to make this even better. Instead of doing 80-80, there's a way that the seller maybe takes a second for a short time. Tell me about that.
Correct. So technically during the purchase part of it, we would allow the seller to carry a small second up to, again, 90% CLTV. So if I'm covering 80% first mortgage, seller can carry a 10% second temporarily. Buyer just comes in with 10%. So
I want to play this in theory, right? So we're doing 80-10. Let's just say for some reason they're willing to carry more. Like, hey, buddy, you got a shitty property. I want to pay you that number, but the only way I can do that is I'll give you half your money now and half the money later.
I mean, technically, just so long as the minimum loan requirement is met, where even at that lower LTV on my first, rate's still pretty much going to be the same.
No,
it's just
I'm not worried about
point,
the rate.
Right. You're just leverage less. Right. So no, it would make sense. Mike, I like that idea.
Yeah, because in theory, right, you're buying a junker. Maybe it's inherited because I bought stuff from kids whose parents passed, own free and clear. Hey, let's just play this out, right? That wholesaler is going to pay you $170.
Okay.
Cash. Right. I will pay you $180, but I'll give you $90K now and $90K in 6 months.
Right.
Then we structure it, 80% is 0% second. They get some money now, some from you, some from me. And then when I sell it, they get the other piece, 0% interest. We could do something like that.
Correct.
Oh, come on. I could have done that on the last deal.
I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't know. Well, because here's the thing. I didn't want to bring it up because you're like, don't do any flips. And I was like, okay, I don't want to bring up something that, maybe you're not really talking about. So
again, I have to say that because most people shouldn't do flips.
You're right.
This last deal I did, I know the seller would have taken 40 or 50% back
Wow.
and I would have been out of pocket less.
Right.
Sometimes when you have money, you don't get creative. Oh, I'm such a jackass. I'm such a
Oh, poor Mike.
jackass.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I know.
When you
Feel
have too
bad
much
for me.
money, you are.
Feel bad for me. But no, I mean that just that I couldn't do a third one, right? I could
Right.
do two. I mean, I have
Right.
enough to do a third one, but I won't spread myself that thin. But
Sure. Sure.
I mean, I I could do 4 or 5 with the same little pile, right?
Correct. Correct. So now you know.
Sometimes you feel stupid. Sometimes you feel dumb. I feel so
No,
stupid.
that's okay. I mean, it's kind of like water under the bridge. You just weren't aware of it, and
I
so
was
we, you
going
know,
fast. It's all
yeah.
excuses. It's all
Well,
excuses.
you're about to go on vacation and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. You know, you had a come on. You know, so you had a lot on
Yeah,
your plate.
you're giving me a door to escape. I don't deserve it. But again, though, this is just very cool. So again,
Yeah.
if you're out there doing the work and you're flipping below the median, your target markets, FHA, VA,
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
Again, I have Omar, Jason. These guys are killing it in that market. Ty. I mean, I
Right.
just
Right.
yeah. So it can be done.
Hmm.
So we will be doing more deals because
Oh,
yeah,
I see the wheels turning. I can see it
yeah,
over the screen here.
very very cool. So if anybody else wanted to
Yes.
play or frankly ask questions, because most people
Yes.
don't have history with velocity, don't have the
Hmm.
personal relationship we do, so they probably have more
Right.
questions because I'm already playing with deals right now. How should they
Right.
reach out to you and go, hey, how do I get some of that fix and flip stuff going?
Well, email's always the best. Again, SDAO at velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, the acronym ORAAT for one rent at a time. Body of the email, brief description, maybe what you're looking for. Property address would be great, at least maybe city and state to make sure that we lend there. Your mid FICO score and best number to reach at. And typically 24, 48 hours, I'll be in touch.
Folks, if you're playing in this game, you should at least understand what is possible because let's be clear, I'm not that hurt, but I do feel stupid, which is not a good feeling.
Well, I guess I mean you don't know what you don't know unless you ask the specific
Yeah.
questions. But then again, Mike, I'm telling you, you just had a lot on your plate. You're trying to get everything done before you left and tie the
Uh,
loose ends. And
I
yeah,
don't like excuses. I should have been better. I should have been better. All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
I
Hopefully, a
man.
lot of people reach out. Just ask questions because I'm sure there's a lot we didn't cover. We may have to cover. You know what? Do me a favor. Take
Yeah,
notes on the
yes.
questions you get because we should answer
Mm-hmm.
those next week because my
Sounds
brain's
good.
just going too fast right now.
All right, all right.
All right, buddy. Take
I'll
care of
talk to you
yourself.
next week, man. Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.